Good morning. Oh, the Columbus Realtor. That's right. We still have these weird name things going on, but today we're going to be watching the stock market, really paying attention to how this thing wants to unfold, as it looks like we could be climbing our way into the next opportunity for a top. But if we continue to do crazy things, then we continue to do crazy things. Oh, Richard, by the way, just to update you, we were able to give your $100 to Abuela, and she wanted us to say thank you, thank you, thank you. She won't take it from me, but my wife was like, no, this is from Lucas's community. This is from Richard. So she said thank you, thank you, thank you. She was super excited. So apparently she was really excited once she knew she could take it. But thank you so much for that, Richard. Really appreciate it. Good morning, guys. We didn't disguise it or anything. We just told her the truth. For some reason, she won't take money directly from us because she's like, oh, I'm taking money from my grandbaby. She's funny. Maybe people with Latino abuelas know. um, so for the market right now, you are in the early stages of what I would assume would be something like here, something like right here, like this right here. See how we just broke out. So here's the high, we just broke out. So you notice that most of the time what happens, we do continue that move. Then we set something up that looks risky. We continue the move. Then we set something up that looks risky. So we should be looking for a lower high or a higher high that makes a divergence, and then we see what happens, right? But I think something that'll be very, very good to watch for is volatility. So volatility, the last multiple times that big volatility has come in, you have made divergence, you have made divergence, you have made, oh, there's no divergence. So I think that it's still very likely we could see volatility react up a little bit more. Notice that the stock market is technically up, I believe, correct? Right? It is up right now, and volatility is up. That means there is some dynamic hedging going on. Now, what this means for us now is the 2-hour is already almost to what? The center line for the MACD. So eventually this might have to rotate back down to then be able to curl up later on. And we'll have to see if that's able to suffice. But I think a 2-hour divergence here would be something to watch out for. And I think that's a great thing to pay attention to. As far as like what I've seen across markets, as far as the charts that I've looked at, I've been kind of looking at volatility and just going, okay, volatility looks like it could really tell us if there's going to be some kind of weakness or at least a high risk of weakness. So very, very good there. We did see some interesting names out there, right? You know that a lot of these are saying they would like to continue, right? We would like to continue the move. This is what we were pointing out in yesterday's live stream. Thank you so much for showing up. That's what we do on the private streams. If you'd like to join Patreon, if you want to go view it, we literally went through and just, if you want free weekly expected moves this week, you can go click on that video from yesterday. We're just doing it one time because the private stream didn't want to work for me. So public got to see it, and we're going to do more of that in July because people really like the little prep. But a lot of this is basic. A lot of this is, hey, can the move continue, right? A lot of the time you just want to say, hey, what am I seeing here? Am I seeing big reversal signals? You're not. You're just not seeing them. So what would be a big reversal signal? If we break down and get a lower high, if we break to the upside and we make that divergence, right? These are the type of things that we need to be watching for from stocks like NVIDIA. It's towards the end of the month, and NVIDIA has really risen the floor, and a lot of stocks have, like AMD has really risen the floor here as well. And you have the same scenario of like, hey, the 2-hour could pull back, and then you could see another upside move. So a lot of the stocks we pay attention to here on this channel will be saying, I really want to at least continue for one more push, even after a pullback. No, we're going to figure it out, Richard. No, we'll know, I think, in the next, I want to say, week and a half. So it'll be a good time. YouTube reveal party. What is the color? Is it blue or is it pink? Here, we'll do it in this. I think it's this. So I think it's this, Richard. So we'll draw in this today, okay? Hey, thank you, Rajiv. I know it's kind of like a weak announcement, but the reason Mama Bear was having to go to the hospital so much was because she pretty much has HG or something like that, and she had to get an IV drip because she was dehydrated. So, and they've been monitoring her closely because we're having a baby. If you didn't know, number two is on the way. Just so you guys are aware. So if I've been a little short with videos, we've been having to take care of Mama. I'm sorry about that, but family comes first, you know. You think this gap up will be a bull trap? I think we have a high likelihood to fade the morning, personally. Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The crazy part is my best friend, one of my best friends, you know, I have a few, but one of my best friends from like high school, he just hung with him yesterday. They had a baby where our baby was due, and then a month later their baby was due, and then this time around we just told them, and they go, "Oh, we're due too." So now they're gonna have a baby, and then a month later we have a baby. It's super super cool. So we'll have like two kids exactly the same age. And our other friends are from Japan. They're gonna have their baby in November. So we're gonna have like so many cool parties. They have to be friends and they have to get married. So it's so awesome. Hey, thank you guys for the prayers too, but I really appreciate it. But we got time. We got time for that. We'll keep you updated on what's going on there in just a little bit. But for now, I guess it was kind of a weak announcement. But um, boy names are tough. I feel like boy, but anything works for a boy. We don't know yet though. That's just what I think. I think it's this. I think it's this, personally. What up, Heel Toe? How's it going? Well, you missed it. Richard and you need to have a feud today. I need some entertainment. Thanks, Nick. TLT was interesting to me. The reason it's interesting is just 2 hour is kind of like doing this weird thing, kind of flattening out here, seeing if it can roll. If we're able to at all make some kind of move like this, that's something I would really watch out for. The 4 hour chart pretty deep here, so very likely to try to make that divergence. But who's to say that that divergence isn't like some kind of double bottom right here? You never know. You want to see if that reaction does come. The daily chart, that's the thing you want to get going here. You don't necessarily have like daily divergence on this or anything like that, but you are getting to the point where support can come in. You're getting to these areas where support can come in. So just be aware that we could see some kind of bounce from this level. The way this would break down is we would like to lose this previous low, maybe get a reaction and fall, kind of doing something like this, right? I feel like blue's harder to see. How did chicken dip? Make some 30-minute videos when I go down the weekend. Yeah, exactly. That's all you're looking for. So if you were here for yesterday's stream, you already know kind of what we were thinking here. Hey, do we create that little 30-minute divergence right here? And if you go look at futures, you actually have it right now. So you're waiting for confirmation for this, but as of right now, you don't have good. This is not good confirmation, even though it's rolled. Just so you're aware. But you see the dramatic divergence. We're looking for that in like the real time. So we're looking for the SPY to potentially reject off of something like our daily expected move of 618, and then probably drift in that downward direction into, I would say, Wednesday morning or Wednesday midday. So I think Wednesday, probably Wednesday, we start to bottom out. It's probably like something like up into down, then we head up in this direction like mid Wednesday. That's what I think is the most probable here. We'll see if that ends up taking place, but for now, that's what I would say. Yeah, AMD as well, trying to break lows, trying to go negative, but anytime that 30-minute confirms up, there should be no reason to short the play anymore. So, you know, if you were trying to take some kind of 2 hour pullback or something, you just wanted to short the thing for a second, maybe you just wanted to take a chance on something, you're bored. Well, you'd still be paying attention to this 30-minute. If the 30-minute curls up, right, if you see this confirmed, then it's kind of saying like, hey, we're going to potentially a weekly expected upside move. So you might want to be out of that play. So that's just how I like to manage things. That's how we directly do it when we teach it to you in the course. AMC, nice little gap up here. Daily needs to get going here. So we really want to see some good upside here for AMC. Same could be said about GME, not seeing as much, but DJT starting to get that little pop. We thought these guys would potentially wake up. And SoFi, now someone did suggest to me that SoFi might have a short seller problem. So SoFi, yeah, it's most probable to do something like this. Um, but if it has some kind of problem, if it just sees like some kind of squeeze here, this would be the area to do it. So you're at your 95% line in the sand, though, just so you're aware. I wanted to give this level to you. Bam, this says you definitely need to make decisions. Hey, if you know more about the stock than I do, then make those decisions the best for you. Yeah, I'm sorry about the weeklies. I accidentally screenshot the last, like the daily expected moves and put them out there. Thank you to, I believe it was Jeff. Thank you so much, Jeff, for coming in and commenting, saying like, "Hey, these weekly moves look a little off," because I had to go get the correct screenshot for that. So I do apologize for that, Patreon members. Make sure that you have reviewed those and just double check them today when you do have a spare moment. Okay. The forever squeeze. That's the go up in July. that's the that's the 2 hour pullback and squeeze more. That's the 2 hour pullback. We just go again, and then we set that floor higher in July. That's like this. We are suggesting this is going to take place. I'm not necessarily trading those exact moves, right? I'm going to wait until we see the good reversal signal. Jackie, Matt, and Lotto all say we go up from here. In what? Like for their little stuff or for SPY? SPY? I mean, they're not fully, I would say, incorrect. We are technically heading up right now, right? We were suggesting in the video yesterday, especially during the live show, talking about that 30-minute coming up, then pulling back. Then you start to get to that weekly move. Then you curl in that upward direction. You notice that would just take you into the end of day Tuesday. If you wanted to drag it out longer, like make a 2 hour or a 30-minute divergence here, you'd probably have to drag this out a little bit longer, right? Come down pretty negative here, bounce up, then come down again in Wednesday. And then by end of day, maybe figuring that out. So if you really wanted a 30-minute divergence, you'd probably have to extend this around for a bit of time. Which, if you extend for long enough, yeah, I think the 2 hour will still be in a good spot. We'll see how those divergences shape up. You have the 30-minute now, like technically, and you have no confirmation of upside right now from your indicators, that is. Yeah, if you want to see it for yourself, you just pull up a 2 hour. Just pull up a 2 hour on these and see. Look at this. This is a good confirmation, by the way. That's a good confirmation if it confirms in 25 minutes. Same with this one in an hour and 25 minutes for the SPX 500, though. So the confirmations are a little off. Like they're off timing, which is normally the case. A good thing that's a long-term port. Apple very likely. Remember, I mean, for now, you would just say what? Well, we're rejecting lower, lower. So if the 30 minutes not confirming back up, that's the only thing you really have to go off of is like 30-minute and 2 hour confirmation up. Right now, you're much more likely to do what? Make a new low. You actually are pretty likely to do so. You're really close to negative territory. You kind of reject it off that center point at a lower point. It's not looking the best, but stocks do crazy things. If the 30-minute whips up here, you might end up at these levels. But all it has to do is this first, right? All we have to do is pull back this 2 hour more, right? We don't have to fully break down ever. We still want to pay attention if 2 hour rotates down, then back up. All right, we'll be watching. But Apple's going to be a hard read, in my opinion. Tesla not able to confirm the 30-minute divergence as of right now. I want to double check again. Okay, just barely not on the RSI. I keep thinking it is, and then I remember us saying it's not, but it is there on the MACD. I think you take that into consideration and say a 2-hour move up, but a 2-hour that doesn't necessarily see the most strength. Let me look at where those moves are for Tesla. Let's see if they're in a good spot. If I'm allowed. Oops. Hold on. Hold on. This is not wanting to work. We'll go check on IWM as well. I just want this to freaking work. Yeah, Tesla would still suggest that and we said this in the video yesterday, so this shouldn't be like new. But Tesla would suggest like a lower high would still be the most probable here. If you utilize weekly expected moves, then lower high makes the most sense. Maybe right here at like 350 again. Here we go, AMD. Here we go. Pull that thing back. Pull back, AMD. Come on, AMD. Get to 135. Screw it. Get to 130. Come on, buddy. Get down there so Richard can buy it, you know? Get down there. Sounds like Richard wants to buy something. As far as levels for the week, 620, very, very, very important for the SPY. 620. So will they want to pay that out now, or would they want to pay that out, at the end of the week? That is something that I am considering at this point. End of the week, we could do a lot of interesting things by the end of the week. So we'll see if that's able to take place. But 620, very, very important level to the upside. On the downside, it starts to get important towards like 610, but I think it gets more important towards like 600. So you could see a move that even takes you down into here for a moment, but I don't know if that's fully on the table. I don't think you'll see as much volatility. We have a shortened trading week. Bitcoin. Did you do it? Okay, you at least confirmed. Now you try to break to the upside. 2-hour divergences, maybe. Yeah, not the best looks there. Look at all the divergence there. So this is kind of suggesting it wants some kind of pullback here as well. Probably to at least test into 103.9K. We just see a sweep. That might I don't think you want to see that in multiple days though. You want that to be like a 2-day reaction. Just kind of down, down, back into up. Come into all this stuff. Look at this all in here. It's pretty nice. Can you do that without crossing down though? Because that confirmation's not going to look pretty. If you roll here, it's kind of a yikes moment to go to the bottom side at least. 91.1. So I think you want to, if you're going to pull back, you want to be here. Or you just want to keep seeing confirmations up. Keep seeing confirmations up and it can't really go down. Nice. Okay, let's see here. Morning. Okay. 77% of Americans do not feel financially secure. Yikes. A lot. Bernie wants you to buy too. We get AMD down to like 135 area, then I'll think about it. AMD anywhere like here, but like especially here. I mean, these strong, strong buyers. If we go down into here, I think it's just like a, hey, you can catch something like this. You can catch something like this. Right? You've broken to the upside. So any kind of coming down into things is a good thing. We would just look for what? Cup handle if it's going to be bad. But if you can just do this, not break that floor, that'd probably be the setup. I think that looks nice. Now, I mean, really, I'd like the cup to form lower. I would really like it to come all the way down into here if I'm 100%. I would like it to do that, then react up, then see a bigger dump here to get through this. Boom, boom, right? This is what I would think what I would like to see if it's going to reverse around. I still have the inclination that it heads higher, though. This means AMD sees some kind of 2-hour move, 2-hour move, 2-hour move, 2-hour move. Ooh, we start to bounce from those type of levels, right? This would give you that curving down here, and then you pop back up. Oh, and then we might run into a problem later on. That could be interesting. I think NVIDIA will show it off better. I think if NVIDIA does it, comes down into this area, curls up into positive territory, curls down, I think this would be the one to watch. And this leg here can be more vertical. As long as we got to see a good pullback, though, for that to be vertical. Not willing to bet against this market, though. Not yet. Not yet. I want to see something very obvious. Like boom, 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 boom. Oh, we go into that July 9th. Woo! Sounds fun. I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know why that happened. I didn't do anything. I promise you. I did not do anything. I promise you. Nothing here has changed. So I don't know why that happened. I've tried to look at settings and things like that, but like maybe it's something on my end. Like, can I do something over here? No, can't do anything there. What's on July 9th? On July 9th, the 90-day pause on tariffs is lifted. Thanks for checking in, JLo. They were having issues with multiple users in the same display name. Okay. Okay, that's good. Whew, thank goodness. Don't want to keep my eye on volatility. Very likely to see good hints from volatility here. The good hint that we would like is like we break this level, we come back down into it, then we go up one more time. And then maybe like Wednesday morning, we start to see divergences. That would be great. We'll look for divergences anywhere. Like we really have to be on our toes for reversal signals in both directions. Will Palantir go down more? Palantir is hitting that fair value area, right? Actually, not really in the fair value area. It's trying to come back into this area. It's not a bad thing, but you're very likely to get like rejected from this area up here, just so you're like kind of inclined to pay attention to it. But does the 30-minute look pretty here? I would say no. You have a big gap down here. I think you're very likely to, maybe you could go up for a moment, but I think you're going to go down. You're going to take care of business here. I don't think this is done, but I do think that Palantir could do what? As it stands, I technically should mark off this level right here because that's what you really needed to take out. So as it stands, something like this makes more sense. And for this one, you would say, okay, a rejection where, well, you would really look at left head, right? We break that low, we come and make that right shoulder, then we are able to confirm down. So you could be in a moment of pulling back to take care of gap, you can curl back up, then you can see some kind of roll. Yeah, this is very likely to take place for Palantir, something like this. So you're looking for that next roll is what I think. Because that's a 10% move down in a day. Like, like this is why during the live show I was just like, just so you know, when I see these things, like when I see 5% in a day, I'm like, I'm taking profit. Then it rolls and it goes another 5%, and you're like still holding on to it. I mean, make some money off the play is what I was overall saying, is what I like to do in those scenarios. But I think you're looking for something like or it just keeps going, because the daily doesn't look happy either. Like, look at that daily confirmation. It's not a good thing. It's really not. It's come back a little bit. And that's funny because it's back how much? What's the percentage it's back? 4%. I was like, yeah, this is why you take profit here. Remember in the video? Because you don't want some kind of like 4% reaction up. Then we get a 4% reaction up. Oh, that's always fun. Let's go stare at the Qs for a little bit here. Qs have similar things going on, by the way. How they're overall confirming things, how they're overall dipping down right now. And if you look over at the US 100 on the 2-hour, you're about to get a confirmation here. We'll see if that actually does confirm. This would suggest that we are going to pull back on the 4-hour chart, and we are going to pull back into, I just think this would pull down into a retest type of area, get down into these type of areas, right? 22.2 maybe. Let's look at VIX 9-day. Do you see VIX 9-day as well? You see the daily divergence now. Now, this, I believe, did violate. No, it's very flat on one point. We'll call that flat on one point, because that looks pretty flat. So if the daily confirms up here, it's not necessarily a good thing. You see how we could just start selling off now. We confirm up, bad things happen. It can happen. I just think we're inclined to be like, okay, but the 2-hour has had to make a lot of divergence a lot of the time. So if this is going to go up, maybe we react up, come back down, and then we go, or we see something like this take place. That's perfectly fine. But I'm inclined to pay attention to weakness this week for sure. Like this week for sure. And I would say, as long as we have a look like this, and as long as we're elevated and haven't seen the real daily pullback that we're going to get, I'm going to still just be sitting back, paying attention. Yeah, so the way that you get the July boom is you get the last 2 weeks of June sell-off, and you didn't really get that sell-off. Now, I'm not going to say it's impossible to go up and follow like seasonality if that's what whoever Richard's talking to is talking about. Like, I get it. But at the same time, like, stocks move how they move. They don't move based on just seasonality, right? That seasonality never gets it 100% right. It's similar all like a lot of the time. That's why people pay attention to it. But as far as like being like, I'm going to take every trade based on seasonality, no matter what the look is, I just think that's doing yourself a disservice. Like, you have better skills than that. Just see if the timing's a little better. A lot of the time you experience the like pullback into end of June, because you have the quarter expiration, you have quad witching. So you at least see like a week of selling when you do get that big boom in July. Most of the time, we'll say most of the time. You didn't get that like at all. Like at all. But I'm not going to disagree with you, right? I'm not going to like disagree, because you could be right. That could be very right here. Like, we have not seen things break down. We have not seen things go into negative trends. So, yeah. Liking the video is free, by the way. Hey, thanks for shouting that out. That's always a good thing. I did realize I made a huge mistake with my thumbnail on Saturday, so I made a huge mistake with it. I accidentally did the thing that I don't like to do this, where you put a thumbnail. Like, I was going to suggest volatility was important, but I accidentally did it at the end of the video. I meant to do it at the like towards the beginning. So hopefully you watch to the end of the video to see that volatility is something we're going to heavily use for weakness over the next like week and a half. might have to might have to go visit. It has a fireworks stand tonight. Sounds fun. It's a little rainy out, but there were some big old booms last night. People really lighting them fireworks. Either that or hopefully we're not right. Hopefully there's not a bunch of risk. If you remember about 2 weeks ago, we were mentioning, hey, just watch out. You see how crazy the world's getting with some of these protests. Like, watch out for times where we're supposed to be celebrating America. Those can be times like windows where they try to do, like, people try to do crazy things. So, just like when we talked about the week before the assassination, I have that weird inclination just to be a little bit on guard with family. And I hope that you guys are just as, men and women, mothers and fathers out there, I hope you guys are just saying, okay, let's make sure to be safe this 4th of July because we have a lot of people trying to do protests. We have protests locally here on the 4th of July, the No Kings thing. So just wanted to shout that out to you guys. I think it's a disservice to not say like, hey, markets are a little risky here. Usually that means something bad can happen. And we do have the 4th of July where people can do or decide to do crazy things because of it. So keep your family safe, right? Keep yourself good. Go have some fun, but just make sure to plan things out just a little bit and maybe drink one beer less so you're able to react if anything were to take place. And God forbid that would happen. I really hope it doesn't. But that's right. I got girls to take care of. Maybe you saw on the I think it was um what was it? It was like I can't remember what day I posted it, but I posted a picture of my girls if you guys ever saw. I think it was on my posts here on YouTube or on Twitter. Posted my girls. I thought they just looked so cute at lunch that day. I had to do it. And I had to say, that's why we trade, right? Our why is not to just make money. Our why is much more important than that. Father's Day, that's right. SoFi booming, yes. So this is why during the live show, when we did see this, we give this level, it does give you the opportunity to make a decision. Now, SoFi, we were suggesting this. This is why we put this level up during the live stream. If you're starting to exceed these levels, you can see crazy things. Now, it's the last day of the month. Your probabilities are saying this is much more probable, even in the next month. But you're just starting a new month, man, and you're doing the crazy thing. So, you know, I still treat it as a decision making area. I was just suggesting if you wanted to see like a mega squeeze, you got to get past all of that, and you're doing it. So, congratulations if you're in SoFi. And then your job's to make money, right? That's the whole point of trading. So, make sure you make money in the overall play. Very nice, though. Thanks, Jess. Appreciate you, buddy. I wonder if I'll have another girl. I'll just have all girls. Oh, goodness. That sounds like torture. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't sound bad at all, actually. I'm a girl dad. Crazy protesters stick to rich areas I can't afford. Hey, that's good. We're at an NYC. That's where I used to play semi-pro ball. I actually almost played for New York FC or the Red Bulls. Uh, I need to get out there, man. I couldn't now with this news. I couldn't get out there and play. I'm pissed. But my wife's from there. Don't want to ruin it. Yeah. I got you. I got you. Tried for a boy 4 times, didn't work out, right? Just didn't work out for you, huh? Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so that didn't end up happening. Oh, we're still kind of sitting up nice and high for VVIX. So now we pump that into a dump that into up, or pump that into dump that into up. I think we're just days away. Now you're gonna hear me talk about it and be like, now I think we're days away. I think you're on our last legs here. I think we got one more push to that 620. I would maybe give it next week's weekly expected move. Wow. What a move it has been. Thank goodness for the scenario 1 2-hour higher low. My goodness, it's been fun. You just love a see, love it, love it, love to see it. Okay, what's like down? AMD's down. GME's down. SoFi popping off. Palantir still doing its thing. AVGO is an interesting one as well. Moving to the upside here, really looks like it wants that 2-hour pullback. But you see how the 2-hour pullback literally would just be like boom, boom, boom. We're done. This will be a crazy time for stocks. JP Morgan pretty risky as well. That one I'd more just consider 2 hours pretty far from the center line, so that could still be pulled back into lower highs, divergence. You gotta be careful with like everything to the upside today. And then after a couple days, you might see a little swing. I guess we're only like 25 minutes into the market. I'm in at 13. It's now over 18. You're in the decision-making area. If you haven't made money in the play, try to make some money on the play is what I tell myself when we cross this dotted yellow line. So, Jomo, this dotted yellow line, there is a 5% chance to see this. You're seeing something that only happens 5% of the time. You have a 95% chance down here. Now, it is continuing the move, right? But what do you think happens after these big moves? Sometimes you see big retracements. So it doesn't mean like, hey, if you think some kind of mega squeeze is coming, that's perfectly fine. But breaking even when seeing something like this and letting the rest ride, or just making some money, making 20% off the play and leaving the rest, that's more the decision that I would look at here. If you want to continue to be a part of the move, if the move has gone up from 13 to almost 19, it's kind of like, hey, how much money has this made, right? How good was the trade? And everyone, that's where we're different. And, a good trade for me can be a okay trade for you. Do I still think it's going down to 615? I think 615 will get hit this week. Yes. Like, I think we'll come back down into it. If you want my honest opinion, I think we're going to go down to like 605. I think we might go down into here. Now, we could do the shortened trading week crazy thing, which is literally you just like grind it, grind it, grind it, right? That 2-hour would start to do what? Well, as it just kind of drifts, it's going to start to go like this. And then you'll see a moment where that could like dip, go like that. And then you see that divergence, right? Kind of like meta. So we could still just like squeeze here. Like I'm not convinced we have to see it. I would like to see volatility increase though. So I'm still sticking to what I think is happening, but I'm not trading it. So it's a very, there's no risk to me saying this to myself and say, hey, I think that this could take place. I think that this could take place, right? That doesn't hurt me in any way if I'm wrong because I'm not going to risk money. Okay. I still think that shorting this isn't the thing because of the 2-hour chart. So if you wanted my true inclination of when I will take a trade, it's when the 2-hour shows me the trade, and that's it. When the 2-hour shows me it, right? If the 30-minute could show me here, I would love that. But yeah, I got to see it. Or if volatility shows first. If volatility shows first, I'm down to take volatility as well. I think volatility might be the play this time around. I think people will overreact. I think you'll see probably a pullback. I think that pullback could go down. Still, I think that potentially could go down into like 585. And when that happens, you're going to see like this, right? Potentially, right? That's potential. We have time. We can hold up here now as well because we rose the floor. But I think that what happens with volatility is I think this thing goes ballistic and gets up to here because people way over hedge it thinking it's a crash, and then we just start to break down. That's like my full inclination based on the information I have right now of like what would take place here. And I think people will over expect a crash. I use 2 hour just because I've studied charts for years, and I found that using a 15-minute, it a lot of the time you see more triple divergence and things like that. So I just studied and back tested 30 minutes, 2 hours in daily charts, and really just looked and saw if there was an over a 60% um, probability throughout the times that I researched that there would be a 30-minute divergence that causes a 2 hour to at least cross down, and it proved to be correct. And so I ended up switching to 30-minute and 2 hour just to spread out the timeline a little bit, but it ended up being one of the like better things for me. I was sick of getting caught in managements for trades on the 15-minute. So I wanted to extend the time frame, and then I started to study those time frames very thoroughly. And so this is how I came up with these inclinations and these like things that we see every single week. And this is why people can understand this information, is because weirdly enough, this information is easier to understand, I believe, because I increased those time frames way back in the day and have studied them so much that 2 hours are a very, very good confirmation as long as it's not the end of the day, right? 30-minute is always a good confirmation because there's 30 minutes every 30 minutes, right? But the 2 hour on the last bit of the day is the only worrisome thing. Yeah. Like, and just if you're more comfortable using something else, that's perfectly fine, right? You could see something and execute things on the hourly and 15-minute chart perfectly fine. I'm just um, suggesting, people can be different, and you'll see me pull up an hourly chart every once in a while too. It's more to me what makes it the most clear to me. What causes me to have more clarity and therefore be able to easier execute on a trade? If it's better for you to look at an hourly, that's perfectly fine. You can still take into consideration what we're saying about the 30-minute and 2 hour, right? If the 2 hour is going to go down, then that probably means the hourly is going to go down soon, right? So yeah, we can put it all together, but I just wanted a full explanation there. 685 and 585 would be, or 635, sorry. Then 585 would be wild. As you raise the floor, we'll see if we can hold up here, but you still have that like 600, that 598 that you could just daily pull back to very briefly. But if we do that, I don't know if you'll see volatility pop off as hard as we assumed. I think it's better for us to kind of like negative trend this for a little bit and then come into these areas and then start to go in that upward direction. But I think we still go up into potentially even July 9th. So like right here. So that would mean we start to pull back over here. And you react up, you react down. You get to those perfect levels and start to rip. So like end of July. We'll see if that takes place though. That's going to be something we watch in like real time. All right. When it comes down to it, we come up with ideas, right? Say we come up with an idea, but then whatever happens in the market is what we react to. Remember down here, what was scenario number 2? What was scenario number 2 here? Does anyone remember? Scenario number 2 was we're going to go down and test the lows, right? Scenario number 2 was we're going to roll all this, test the lows, maybe even set up points of divergence and then head in that upward direction. But the first scenario was a 2-hour higher low, and that went positive, right? So we reacted to scenario 1, even though we were paying attention to scenario 2. We're doing the same thing right now. We're building those type of scenarios to give us some guidance, and then we look for what actually happens in reality. Reality is the most important thing. Meta, if you're looking over at Meta and things like that, another gap above a critical level, like Meta continues to be resilient. Now you're starting to be like, oh, this is a lot of pushes without seeing what a 2-hour pullback. So still Meta in this area, if you want me to give you a good inclination of what could happen here, well, Meta can still continue to the upside if it would like, right? This thing can continue to just do crazy things, but I'm not going to start to take a call position. I wouldn't even have started that position here, right? Maybe you would have started on this little dip if you're watching a 30-minute, but other than that, it's like, are you going to start it as it's doing this? No, you want to grab it when it's like here and you see that little moment. So for now, the better trade to me would be looking for something like this, right? Looking for something like this, looking for something like this. You know, some kind of pulling down to the center line in some way, because that proves to be confirmation and good things happen. So let's see if good things continue to happen by pulling back, grabbing buyers, maybe around 720, and then we're able to curl to the upside. That would be fantastic. If we want to take care of gap, we can do that as well. But that's more talking about when's the next opportunity. Notice that we're not saying it's an opportunity to short. It's squeezing right now. We have no idea where that could stop. This week, we have room to the upside to about 760. So yeah, I think you're just like, when's the next trade? The next trade's a 2-hour pullback trade, just like over here. You've already seen this, right? You're seeing this. So what are you waiting for? Kind of like one of these. One of these. It's more drawn out. That's usually a good thing too, right? Very sideways. Boom. So I think a 2-hour pullback is potentially the next opportunity for something like that. Microsoft's going to be in the similar boat, right? Microsoft still looks like, hey, this 2-hour is up, up, up there. And what does it need to do? Well, it potentially needs to pull back into like 483, 484, that type of area. Then it might break down too far and set up a lower high. Then it might break to the upside and then hit a move, and then we're done. Oh, already just squealed. So these are all just things that are really high up, and people who are patient usually end up in a better spot than people who are impatient in these type of times. That is why it is very critical for me to follow my booklet that says be patient. That's like literally what's been written in my book, and I keep shouting it out. That's what I've decided. That's what my plan says. How is Palantir? Palantir is fine. Palantir is very likely to make that right shoulder that could have been. Oh, my Norton's is done. So here, the 2-hour is very likely to do something like this, right? But we could do all of this first. It doesn't really have to do it in a certain way, right? But you're very likely to see some kind of reaction that fails. And right now you're getting a reaction. Could that reaction right now fail? Yeah. Yeah, I saw some people bringing up McDonald's, I think yesterday. Oh, I like this. Oh, that looks like 2-hour. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. That's real good. That's nice. That's nice. What's likely to happen here? If you see this 30-minute, there is the potential. Do you see these great buyers in here? Look at these great buyers. And look at what's across there. Oh my goodness. Some stuff going on here. Something very nice would be to dip down into here before going higher. And then this is where you actually get a pop-off moment to try to get above 305. McDonald's doesn't look bad here. It looks like the daily wants to curl up. Now, the daily, you have to watch out here and here, especially this level right here. I might even just draw that up. I think this makes the most sense right now. Let me see here. There you go. I think something like this. Now, this just means to us, what are we looking for? Well, this is a bad area. You want to get through that to try to raise that floor, right? You want to get back above that 200. If you just go up to this area and then you reject, well, you might need to make divergence first. You might need to go get a quick retest, but also you could just be rolling and you're very likely to make a new low. As far as the trend goes, you're very likely to make a new low here. It's kind of similar to this moment right, yeah, right here, where you need to take out this high, but you don't, and then you just roll. That is what could happen over here. So what you want to see is strength. You want to see like a big move soon. And I would say 30-minute pull it back, then you try to make that big move. If you can get through 305 pretty confidently, McDonald's might be back on the bull for a bit of time. I don't know, though. That's a deep MACD. You see the positioning there? Pretty deep. So I don't know. I don't know if this is off the table. It's not like a terrible look. There's definitely a trade to be had. But it's just how good will that be? Like, is that the good things for an investment? It's like, yeah, at least it's cheaper. Watch says I missed all the dips due to fear. WME. It was 282 last week. Quickly went to, well, you can look at stuff like McDonald's. If you're really like investing wise, you can go out to daily scales, just like look at prices and say, okay, what am I getting? Okay, I'm getting this, but I'm not really getting like an extreme low. Right? Where's like a 2022, 2020? 2020 is like 173. Where's 2022? Yeah, you're not getting like extremely good prices. Oh no, if you this would be crazy, but I don't know. I'm just gonna watch this level right there. Just gonna watch that over the next few weeks. It would be really bad to like, yeah, and then you roll it again. That would be not so good. But we'll have to see over the next few weeks. That's very far off from happening. You have 2-hour divergence that suggests something like this can happen right now. So 300 looks like an area it wants to get to over the next few weeks. Just like the Spartans. It could, yeah. You see how it could turn into it, but it's going to take a while. Yeah, I think it'll take a minute. Like I think you'll see an upward move, and then you'll find out like, hey, is a downward move going to come? You know? Look at that, Meta's still going. Do you see why Meta? It's like, hey, just be careful trying to short these squeezes, right? Yeah, you're welcome, Praha. Appreciate you being here, bud. Yeah, you got to be careful with things like Meta and things that are squeezing, like SoFi and things like that. Just trying to guess when they're going to top, very difficult. Because Meta can literally still go to like 760 this week. And the SPY can go to 624 this week. Crazy. What'd this guy do? See, it's trying to hold up right at that center line. Gosh, if that just curls up, you continue. Same with Meta, or same with Nvidia, sorry. Is this guy still good? Oh, you have 30-minute divergence here on the RSI. You get a 30-minute confirmation here. Not necessarily a good sign. Now you can see crazy things, but that's a confirmation, so do your absolute best. Okay, JP Morgan looks really rough here. If it dies down, if that move fades, this is looking like it's pulling down into what, 280? Yeah. I can't believe people said buy no matter what. You know, like you'll hear me maybe say that in certain instances, but that's like my 8250 for TLT, buy no matter what. That's my Bitcoin, like this level is a buy no matter what. Do you know how deep my buy no matter what level is? My buy no matter what is not at a new all-time high. My buy no matter what is at a new low. My buy no matter what is this purple zone way down here for Bitcoin. If we ever, for whatever reason, made our way down there, that's where I would purchase like 5, 10 of them. Hopefully at the low end of that zone. That low end of that zone, you don't know. That goes from like 13K to like 3,000. So if you can get it for 3,000, woo, that'd be so sick. I don't know if that's happening now though. has been the fastest recovery of all time. It has, hasn't it? I think it has. I think you've seen like news articles about that. Yeah, it's been wild. It's been fantastic, to be honest. I think the first two legs did really well. The last one, I was like, that was okay, and then I didn't do this one right now. So overall, it's been pretty great. Can't complain. No, I think like lockout is correct. If we weren't utilizing price action, like if we weren't doing our little boxes and doing our price action and paying attention to that and how the environment's changed, like gamma wise, we could have been in a lot of trouble. There was a lot of reversal signals, but thank goodness we were just doing like, it's like we haven't had to do that on this channel. I don't think we've had to do that in like a year and a half. So it's very cool to bring that out. Is this like Twilio? I think it hits 129 this week. If it fades right now, it's really bad. If it fades right now, if it fades, yeah, you got a big ass zone. We'll do it a little tighter. If it fades right now, I guess technically you'd want to include that though. That sucks. I'm still just gonna do this. Actually, we're gonna exclude a lot of that. So I'm not suggesting this is gonna get like ugly right now, but I think a 2-hour pulls back, comes down into this type of area, and then you just curl up into positive territory. I know it's kind of boring, but that would be the next trade setup. And if you look at this, when would you see if that's going to happen? Well, if the 30-minute confirms down, it's very likely you're going to do what? At least see like a 2 push come down into this area, and then you can go to 129. So do I think 129 happens? Yeah. Actually, I do. Do I think it happens right now? No. And if it did, then was it a way for me to consistently make money to take that play? Probably not, right? So if I get a 2-hour pullback here, I might be able to see 129. That would be great. And the 30-minute has a ton of divergence. So if you look at your MACD and this rolls, hasn't rolled yet. This is where it can just go up and do something crazy and violate things. But as of right now, boom to the down. As of right now on this, boom, down. Hasn't reversed yet though. So the next time that 30-minute can just go blip and confirm like that, then we are very likely to see something like this. Then we can maybe head to that upside move. That's how I would look at it. Daily scale, if daily reverses down, not necessarily a good thing. So if we go down on the 2-hour, we go up to 129, maybe something like this, and the 2-hour goes up, maybe you don't hit 129 though. We'll see. And then you curl down, you do have daily divergence above you. So this says if you're not going to see some kind of big squeeze here, but you've seen great things, if you're not going to see some kind of massive thing right here, then you're at risk of doing something like this into here. And then you start to head in that upward direction. So this thing needs to squeeze or pull back on the 2-hour and get a curl up to really see more upside, in my opinion. And so the next trade would be a 2-hour pullback to the upside, and that's where you really need to squeeze. If you get a 2-hour pullback, you need to squeeze in that moment, or else I think you have daily divergence, and that can get a little bit rough. Twilio. Oh, IWM. IWM kind of starting to fade that move a little bit. IWM on the 2-hour not showing good confirmation yet. IWM on the 30-minute chart. No divergence on the RSI. Maybe lower high starts to come in here. Divergence pretty dramatic there on the MACD though. So I would still lean towards 2-hour pullback. I don't think you reverse the trend here with the 2-hour. You don't. I don't think you have it on the indicators very clearly at the same time. One indicator is still high up. So that tells me, hey, watch for this 2 hour to maybe be able to do something like this. Maybe we even see a quick little 1-2. Then we actually curl to the upside. We could pull down further, right? Like we know that if these dailies confirm down, this is not good, right? We see this. You guys see this on IWM. If you're really thinking like this is a great time to buy IWM for the next 2 weeks, and you see this, that's kind of a scary ass time to say that. And then look at this and you go, oh, it's in the near price action too. Now, you could take these with a grain of salt. They're not up here, right? But if you just watch them, you're like, hey, here's the thing. Here's how you'd say it. If the daily crosses down, it's pretty risky. That's it. And then you just say, I don't know if that would crash down with the look we have. I don't know if I like this information. It depends on if you see them as reasons for the trade. But if the daily crosses down like this all of a sudden, man, that doesn't look very nice. Looks kind of mean. Looks kind of rude. Yeah, Apple overall consolidating. I think Apple will be the more difficult one to call. I still think that I'm inclined to believe Apple sees something into this gap or takes care of this gap for a moment. That could be interesting. Or Apple just keeps going sideways and sideways and sideways and still keeps this MACD within positive territory. So even if we drop down here, I just want to see if we ever curl back up while we're up here, right? So we'll see what happens with Apple, but that's going to be a difficult one for right now. We'll keep an eye on it and see if it clears itself up. Got some crazy DD. Let's go. How about the housing market? Housing market for now, as you can see, we're really struggling to get through these levels. And what do we consistently do here? Weirdly enough, I think you have lower highs and you have higher lows. So you're kind of caught in between. You do have the potential for, I would overall just say, okay, let's just say lower high. So if this is going to reverse down, you could have that little double topping and we could head down for a moment. And then you see how we could raise that floor for the housing market, right? We see how we could really make it come back, right? We can see that for the 2 hour chart. But the daily chart, if that says, oh, we're going too deep, we're making a new low, then you're still continuing the downtrend and you might need to go retest lows. My inclination and what I assumed would happen with the housing market is drawn in this blue line. I think we go up, but it's kind of like, do we go up right now? So housing's in a bad spot. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really, it's like lower. But as far as like where it is with buying, where it is with levels, it really looks like it wants a counter move, like some kind of weekly move to the upside, right? Go retest into here. That's what I think will happen for the housing sector. I think Nail even showed those good reversal signals, but it's 3x leverage, so be careful with analyzing there. What is SRFM? Have I ever looked at SRFM? Oh, there you go. A couple people asking for it. I'll look at it. SRFM? I get that right? Surf Air Mobility. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty crazy. 2 hour pullback. Ooh. Oh, wow. What a move. Holy fam. Did you ever tap back into here? Yes. And then that was the tap into there. So you try to raise floor. Wow, this one's a little wild. 30 minutes curled up, so that's +4 now. This is some choppy stuff, though. We lose all this. Is this just a squeeze boy? Hey, weekly confirmation. Weekly high or low. I mean, theoretically, high or low, confirming. Closer to the center line. Are we going to try to get to 1083? We're going to try to do this. So then we can do this. We can raise that floor again. Investment-wise, I don't think it's like the best thing in the world, but I don't think I would like hate on this at all. I really don't. I think investment-wise, it's kind of chill. I think option-wise, like you see how I'm at daily charts. Option-wise, you're like, pretty difficult to tell, right? It's going to probably need some luck there. But investment-wise, I mean, you know, if you ever have extra cash and you're like, damn, I want to see if this thing is nice and cheap right now, and it is, and you have a chance to get, 1,000 shares or something like that, and you just sit on them. What, we just IPO'd pretty much, right? I think investing-wise, not too bad. I think investing-wise, it's fine. I think option-wise, it's pretty choppy right now for options. If you're going to do options, I mean, that's going to be like extended out for probably what, like 6 months? But the shorter time frames, those can just, that's the problem with like stocks like that. It's like if you're investing, you just want a good price, right? If you know more about the stock. If you're trying to do an option with it, shorting, calling, whatever, those things are so 50-50, and you came right into the middle of where buyers took over, then sellers took over, and you ended up right in the middle. So it's very difficult to tell, I think. I just give you my extra guys. Hey, I appreciate that. No, what SMCI end up doing? Yeah, Monument. I appreciate the $10 too. Thank you so much for that. I wish I could tell you more on the option side of things, but it's very choppy in there right now. The weekly perspective, though, I would say like it looks like it's going to attempt to go up, and if it can, then you could see like 2-3 months of upside. Yeah. I haven't looked at SMCI for a bit. Okay. Now we gotta see, is that the FOMO, people? 2-hour pullback still most probable. I think we want to go to new highs, like up here. But are we going to go right now? Well, daily's crossed up. It's the time to do it, but daily divergence, you're not really happy about that if that confirms. So right now, I'd say it's momentum is with the bulls, but if that shifts, you have to be ready to react. Right? So if you're in it, it would say if the daily goes like that, you just got to be ready to react. It's a daily chart, though. I know I say gotta be ready, like it's gonna be this big intense thing. No, you can just check on it, probably in the last couple hours of the day. The 30-minute here making some potential for rejection divergence. I wish we had weekly expected moves, but the 2-hour pulls back into these type of levels, then curls up. Once again, 2-hour pullbacks look to be very, very probable for a lot of stocks. If they pull back too much and you start to cross daily momentum, you can get that waterfall of selling type moment. But yeah, I think you're looking at something very similar to NVIDIA and AMD and things like that are just 2-hour pulls back, 2-hour heads to the upside, and then 2-hour can see if we set a trap. And that could extend into that options, by the way, right? We know that could extend into like Friday options, like July 11th or whatever, because this will take some time to form. This would be a very quick forming 2-hour, actually. It usually takes 2 weeks to pull down and pull back up. So if we're not doing it right now, like if we don't start right now, then we can just assume we're extending the time. People are hedging, Chris. People see that there's weakness. People know. The real people know. I think the real people know that like something is going to rebalance itself after the quarter's done, right? We're going to see a rebalance moment. I think that's very highly probable. And I think other people see it too, and that's why you're seeing volatility go up with the market. People are starting to think more about hedging. It has been fantastic, hasn't it, Jomo? Yeah, Zachary. That's how I use them. I don't use extended hours. Not all the time. I can look at it to make it clear. But yeah, I'm not inclined to have to look at extended hours. You want to maybe pay a little bit more attention to them now, because you're getting more like dark pool trades. Like you're getting more off exchange than lit exchange. Like, right, we've talked about that. But yeah, it's perfectly fine to use it without. But everything that is said about pretty much everything should be, if it's not true on these charts that we pay attention to, then it can't be true on any other chart. But if it is true on these charts, then it can be true on any other chart. So anything that you learn about the 30-minute and 2-hour chart can be put to use in other time frames as well, right? If the 30-minute confirms on the MACD and RSI in positive territory above the 9, then it is highly probable to go up and try to test the last high. If the SPY on the daily does the same thing is going to be said on a different time frame. We might, but we don't have a Friday this Friday. Thank you guys for subscribing today. Appreciate you guys coming in. Yo, that's so facts though. I saw what like Richard and Hielto were saying. Um, a lot of your risk goes away if you put down options. It's so I did it in I will potentially do that again. The next big like after maybe 2026, I'll probably switch back to just not doing options anymore because I won't like need any kind of extra anything. And I'll have enough cash on the side to be able to just be like, all right, I'm good. I can just do shares from now on. I'm not trying to like make billions of dollars, right? I just want to make enough to be like comfortable, like fully for a long time, be done, and kind of just like trade like easy, no options. Me, what's it? I always think of whenever I say millions, I think of Austin Powers when he's like $1 million, and they're just like that's like my inflation meme. That's my inflation meme. Is Doctor Evil? Doctor Evil comes in asking the world for $1 million, and he's like, that's not a lot of money. I might still do it for fun, JLo. Right? I like my fun account. I think it makes it a lot more entertaining. And you think options are much harder? Options are much harder. So if you have shares, so the biggest thing with like options and the reason that it is so difficult is because you've probably heard people say, uh, don't time the market. Okay, well, okay. An option, an option has a time limit, right? So you have to buy a date where it stops and you'll be right or wrong. right? So if you're really thinking of like risk, if you can make it so this is not against you, but with you, it's better. That's why people say the other phrase, and this is why this is more right for most people. Time in market is more important, right? So for an investor, they would say they really are utilizing the time. This is why you extend out the time when you're doing an option. That's what I learned to do like a long time ago, right? We talked about this plenty of times that I said, hey, I was doing 2 week. Actually, this happened like last year. I was like, I did a 4 week. It didn't work out. I think it was the JP Morgan trade. And I just go, if I would have just kept on to that, I would have had it. But because I didn't have more time, I wasn't confident. And so that trade would have came back and would have made money. But instead, I took a loss on it. So what's the difference here is time in market just means a long time. Investing. And you know what investors' biggest thing is? So the hardest part about investing, do you guys want to know exactly what the hardest part about investing is? And you can trade like this too. You can trade, but you don't have time against you. This isn't against you. This is kind of with you, right? It's not as against you. It's kind of right next to you. It's kind of on your side a little bit. Now, as an investor, what do you guys think is the biggest mental hurdle or mental decision that an investor, a good one, has to make? Like, okay, what is the biggest thing the best investors have always done? What is the number one thing they have been able to do? It's on your screen. The word is on your screen. The phrase is on your screen. Emotions? No, the word's on your screen. It's just time. Now, emotions is part of that. It's literally all time, right? So Warren Buffett, we talked about him. Warren Buffett, when I think it was when he was 67 years old, he made like he had 1.5 or something like that million. Now he's worth whatever billion. Right? So now he has hundreds of millions of dollars here. I don't know how old he is. But notice that it took 67 years to get here, but he made 10, 20, 30, whatever X in like 20 years. So his time in the market is actually the biggest thing. Now you're saying time in market's the hardest thing for someone who wants to time in market. What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means by looking at charts. Are you ready? So we're going to focus on this for a second. This is fun. This is actually good to know. This is very good to know. What is the biggest problem that people who want to be investors don't do? They don't remain in the market. So this means if I go to a monthly chart, right? The biggest mental hurdle, the biggest hurdle that these people have to get through their skull when you're investing is this part. Just remain. Holding through terrible things, right? If my grandma, which actually this happened, my grandma owned like Apple stock. My grandma, okay, here, I'll show you. My grandma actually did this. My uncle bought my grandma Apple stock in like 1997. I think it was 1997 or like 2000. Well, in that time, you're seeing how this is so up, but when you're in that time, if you look at this, around that time, this happened. Bam, right? What did my uncle do with that money he invested for my grandma? This genuinely happened. My grandma sold Apple for like a shit ton of money. That happened. It was like her whole retirement. Okay, so if you would have said, oh no, Apple's terrible, I'm not investing in there. Shortly after that, you were wrong. And then you probably went and said, okay, I'm going to do it again. But you just lost out on making that money back. right? So you're already like, you're still invested and it's good. You're still okay. You're making a good, like decent decisions, but not like good ones over time because you're not following one simple rule of investing: time in market, time in, right? Then in 2007, we go through awful things. You might have been convinced to sell everything here. But if you could have the mental fortitude to say, maybe this will figure this out, then you benefited from that, right? So the biggest problem that goes into these moments is, do they convince you to stop doing your time in market? Now, you can have extra skills that can tell you when it's risky to be in the market. And that's what we look for every single day. But if you were able to hold, like my grandmother, I think she sold them in like, I think she sold right before 2020, but she got it down for like literally pennies. Like, I think it was like $6. I think it was like a 10X or something. It was something wild. But if you can do that, the biggest problem is when things get bad, people think it will continue to be bad. And if you're one of those people who just say, okay, I've saved money, I'm going to buy at these points instead, you've been way better off. For Apple for now, though, you're starting to see divergences pop up. So you're starting to get some red flashing lights. And now you have to decide, do I still want to hold on to Apple for another 20 years? Right? That's the biggest problem that investors run into, is literally they watch markets. It's almost better to just not watch them. Now, I would say you're going into a different time here. You're going into a different time here where I think that you are starting to see one of these moments about to happen, right? Where it could be a little bit worse than you expected. So am I inclined to invest now? No, I took my investments all off the table somewhere in here. I thought it was too risky. So now I'm just waiting to see when that risk shows its face, and maybe it already has. But maybe there's something bigger coming. Maybe it's real big. Maybe it's down to here. So I'm not inclined to do that. I watch markets closer than another person as well, an investor. I watch markets closer so I can react better and utilize my skills. And if I have true skills, then I can do good things with my, like, for my money. And this is why we use the tools that we use. But investing wise, that's your biggest thing. I've done exactly what you're saying. Exactly. You invest. That's why I do not click on this stock ever, right? I almost never click on Target stock. I'm invested in Target. I don't care. Unless this is breaking a price point of 65 and then curling up to reject at 78, I don't care. I think it's a great price. And that's it. And I can sit and make my dividend money as it goes flat. And it really goes flat. And it looks like the weekly is starting to just go across and across and across. And you're about to get down to 78.50 where I'm going to buy it again. Because it's a great level to invest. But the best part about not doing an option for this going like that right now, it has to do it right now. Whereas this could do this, and do it in 2027. And I will not be unhappy about it. So I think it's a good thing for people to know, like what has really been the investor's best asset, and a true investor's best quality is time, like their ability to just hold through crap, and then add value when at the necessary times. Gonna jump back in and miss the guy, big move up at all-time high. Yeah, Matthew, perfect example, and I'm sorry that happened to you. So if you have a lot of people that you trust are saying you're about to get a massive opportunity, wouldn't you start to save a little cash? Start that investment. Hold it for 5 years, July 30th strike, kind of going for it. I like it, non-Navin. Hey, I wish you luck, buddy. Is the market going to get rugged? I think on potential for July 9th, yes. But, a lot of that comes down to individual decisions. You could be someone who's really good at, at least selling near tops and be way better off and make just 10% more than the person next to you. And if you make 10% more a year, you're going to grow like crazy compared to them. So it's just, it's all a matter of how much skill do you have, how much do you want to pay attention to markets, and probably a matter of how much capital you have as well. I think July 9th to that Friday, we can extend to, if we don't get 2 hour pullback right away, or this 2 hour pullback's a little more drawn out, we technically could go up into July expiration. But I'm still inclined to believe July 9th is the next point to really pay attention. I think that paying attention to July 4th, like anything bad happening this weekend, is still on the table. But that's true, Rajiv. I'm down for it. I don't know exactly how it'll play out. If I did, I would tell you guys so you'd make all the money, right? The truth is, you never know exactly how it's going to play out before it happens. You just have a good history of time in market. For option trading, that would be just an amount of time looking at charts. And you say, okay, we could continue the move. It's not a 2 hour, you do not have a 2 hour divergence outside of a monthly expected move that's going to tell us, like, hey, there's extreme weakness here now. You don't have that right now. You're at the move, but you're not showing any reversals at the move yet. Yeah. But Rajiv, I'm happy with, if yours plays out or mine plays out, man, I'm happy with either one. Black Swan Monday. No. Looks like a 611 test tomorrow. I'd agree. I would say 608 is very attractive for the 2 hour to get to. 608 and then 605 obviously will be good too. Truly though, like the 2 hour, you just see these levels right here, these areas you kind of want to live in here. But also this gap is like if you wanted to, what are you doing? Well, this is technically the zone you could retest. So if the 2 hour wanted to, we could just do this and then do this. We could go all the way down into here and then do this if we really wanted to. I'm inclined to believe something like this would take place, but man, shortened trading week, not as many, like people I already know, my friends are already at the lake. I can't go. I'm sad. I'm sad. Yeah, you get JOLTS and ISM manufacturing PMI tomorrow morning after the open. You will get non-farm payrolls and unemployment on Thursday before the open. You will also get ISM services PMI after the open on Thursday. But I think next week is more important. The reason, so here's the thing. Rajiv, you're saying, oh, it's so obvious, like it's not going to happen the same July 9th, blah, blah, blah. You know what else is on July 9th? I'll ask you that. Rajiv, what else is on July 9th? And why we would pay attention to it for a risk window there. But what else? There's something else, not Navin. There's not just that. There's something else that day. Maybe you could FOMC it coming. Apparently there's FOMC that day on the same day. But which one's going to be the excuse? Oh, the FOMC said this, but Trump's a bad guy. Or is it, oh, Trump said this, but the FOMC's the bad guy? Options expiration. July 9th shouldn't be on an option, an OPEX. It says FOMC right here. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the minutes. Minutes. Jesus, not actual FOMC. Jesus, that was scary. Let's look at future data here. Retail sales up. PPI ticked up. Core inflation rate. Ooh, some little ticks up projected there for the CPI. That would be the expiration July 18th after that. FOMC minutes. I can't believe I just like touted at FOMC. There's more risk now than before the crash in January, yet markets are higher. Can I ask a question? Relaxing finance. I'm genuinely interested. What is the more risk? I just want to know. I just want to know how you're thinking about it. When you say there's more risk now, what are you comparing? Risk of war. I don't know. Are you talking about things like that? BBAI. Yeah, we can do it while we see what he's saying. I just want to see where your head's at. Big Bear doing big bull things. My goodness. Wiping out the divergence point. Very, very nice. 2 hour refusing to curl down. This is looking pretty damn squeezy to me. That looks pretty darn squeezy to me. Oh, you're in the area you could reject. You could test those highs, but shoot, you don't have any weakness in momentum here. But a lot of these plays like to make lower highs. A lot of these, if they drop, they like to make lower highs. If the 30 minutes going, let it keep going. When that confirms down, bad. That's how you treat these ones. You say the 30-minute momentum's good, 30-minute momentum's bad. You can see big drops. You saw that here, right? So you don't want to be caught in a top. Look at that. That's like 20% in like a day. So you don't want to be caught in a top. But if you see a time where you can curl up like you just did and you just hop in, ooh, you can keep going. Hopefully it keeps squeezing. Affirm on the hourly. You like the hourly chart? Yeah, we can look at it on an hourly. I don't like that little 30-minute though, just right off the bat. Hourly chart showing you that divergence. So I know that you might like those hourly charts, and I think you're right to pay attention to it. I think you make an hourly triple divergence, if you will. I think you're going to potentially come down like this, and then you're going to go up like this, and you'll see like an hourly triple divergence that's kind of like spread out. Something like that. That's what seems to be very, very nice here. That or lower high. You're still looking for potential for daily pullbacks, right? So daily needs to pull back. Or right now, the 2 hour just needs to pull back. But if you like your hourly chart, you're still looking for what? That hourly to pull down. Maybe react down to like 65, then curl back up, and then potentially make lower high or a higher one. And then you watch out for the divergence where you will make the lower high. It's really, really high up, right? Buy high, sell low. I don't know about that. This is pretty high. 2 hour chart's just suggesting pullback as well. So can you continue the move for a bit of time? Yes. The daily doesn't have to get its pullback yet. When it does pull back, you'd be paying attention to about $61. If you need to come down lower, you could theoretically, no, it'd be like right here, 53. I'll give it 53 bucks. Let's move this to like 53, right in there. Yeah, hourly, I think you're going to make a triple divergence, but you got to watch for a lower high as well. Very strong, though. Keep it going. Temp, we got Tempest pretty good the last time we looked at it. Oh, it's still just bottled up, man. This really looks like it wanted to roll, too. Like, it's still just not doing everything it needs to do. It had to come down and test this low again. We're looking for a 2 hour good confirmation here. The daily has overall said, like, hey, I have divergence, watch out. So just be aware of that. If the 2-hour can confirm up here, you have a chance the daily could get another move. But the 30-minute is kind of suggesting that you kind of have this, if you come up to these type of levels and then you just reject from there, watch for the next roll. If you roll again, be very cautious with this one. So if 2-hour can give you a good confirming bar, like a very strong one, I'd say, hey, look for that next upward move, see if it happens. Pay attention to your management of risk. But if this 30-minute rolls before the 2-hour confirms, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, trucking with Josh, it's a very good thing to do. What I did was I just traded with shares. It made it a lot less risky. And I just mainly focused on like one trade at a time back in the day. Yep. One trade at a time, no options, just shares. And then you just kind of chill on it. You try to use your skills the best you can. Yeah, the benefit to shares too is you don't have to care as much about those intra moves. A lot of the time, once I had monthly expected moves, if I wanted to just do shares, I could just like buy something with a decent looking signal, wait till it gets to monthly move, and it's a lot less like turmoil. But yeah, then I started to actually treat it like a job that I need to use for cash flow. So then we had to do some options there. Minimize risk a little bit. There are benefits to options, right? You can minimize risk in certain ways. But that's awesome. I'm glad to hear you're like, I think it's kind of clicking. That's good. Like give yourself some credit. That's a good thing. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you, relaxing finance. I am not disagreeing about that. Yeah, paper trading, it's a good little like tool. Think Apple will retest 150. I kind of do. To be 100 with you, the daily scale, I'm not the happiest with this. And I think Tesla could go down. I don't know about 150. I think it could retest in here. But because you see how this is kind of, oh, we drop through the floor for a moment. And then we see what happens at the lows. But for now, 150, we'd have to look at like if the weekly could get some kind of roll here. And I don't necessarily see 150. Yeah, I don't see 150 here. Weirdly enough, if Apple gets a daily pullback here, we'll be watching it. Weirdly enough, because if Apple was going to build back, it would do it above this level. Just clean it up for a sec. Yeah, if that weekly could cross up, you kind of see how I'd want to go higher, retest, go again, and then we look into 2026. But I think you're still risky of like testing in here first. So right in here, like testing like this, bam. But if you really look at what you've done with Apple, you've gone up, you're above the 200. You create your weekly zone if you want to, right? We had a line here, but bam, like that. You're going, okay, we came in from the top side, and now we're going to try to ping pong pretty much. So if you can get through here, it starts to look pretty good. You do that. That'd be interesting. I'm going to leave that there. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I think, I don't know about 150. I think you retest lows is very potential there. Very high potential. Got to go talk to Uncle Sam, this afternoon, this week at all. I'm gonna try to towards like Thursday, or at least try to do the extended stream, like just maybe do like all day or something. We'll see about about Wednesday if I can. I might be doing a little boat trip, so we'll see. I love the 4th of July, so I gotta go have myself some fun. I'm just shares right now. I think that's awesome. So yeah. But speaking of, Richard has to hop off. I think I got to hop off as well, guys. So for today, we'll be potentially putting out that YouTube video tonight if we see some things that kind of contradict or go against anything that we really talk about here, or just to get you guys daily expected moves and talk a little bit about stocks. So yeah, we had some great topics today. I think it was a lot of fun. I think we were able to see a lot of things we can be patient for as of right now and see if we get some 2 hour pullback into the next session. That would be fantastic. And if we start to pull back today, if we start to 2 hour pullback, we will potentially put out a video tonight just to discuss like what we could be looking for utilizing the daily expected moves for tomorrow. So thank you guys. Have a fantastic freaking day. And I wish you guys nothing but luck and some good fortitude in your decision making. Peace out, guys. Trade like water and you'll be just fine. I'm out of here.